Hi. I heard that Levi Lusko once described responding to the pandemic was like running a marathon, only to reach the finish line and realize there's a bike race. And just when you feel like you've done with that, surprise, there's a swim. I don't know about you, but I can so relate. And so many women that I talk to are bone tied, physically, emotionally, mentally. And when exhaustion takes over, it affects everything. We start making choices based on survival rather than intention. We put off dreams, we settle for less, we lose sight of what truly matters. When we're running on empty, how can we possibly move forward with purpose and with clarity? So I'm curious, can you relate to this? It was one of those very long days where the to-do list outlived the daylight. You know, the kind where you've done all the things, you've met everyone else's needs, you've ticked the boxes, but somehow you still feel like you're trailing behind in your own life, even though your world is full of lots of good things, family, work, laughter, community. There's this ache that whispers, something's missing, something's not quite right. Then, just when you think maybe it's you scroll through the socials and there it is. Another reel with 5 hacks to help you get it all done. But instead of feeling hopeful, you feel heavier, like somehow you've failed to keep it up. And I love hacks as much as the next person does. But here's what I've come to realize. If those hacks are not grounded in habits that flow from the very fabric and fiber of who you are, they become overwhelming and you just feel like you're striving. Well, that was me. And I remember one night after wrangling 2 overtired children into bed, standing in my kitchen with my hand on the fridge door, so close to tears. I'd kept all the plates spinning. I had shown up. I had done the hard and holy work of holding everything together. But I felt like I was drifting from the woman that I knew God had created me to be. And that night when I opened my journal to reflect on my day, I wrote these words: surely this isn't what living aligned with grace and purpose is meant to feel like. My name's Tracy Lilley. I'm a qualified counsellor, coach, and I'm a recovering control freak. I help women in every season, whether leading a company, a church, or a family, align their lives with their deepest values and God's eternal purpose. My heart is to see women live authentically, lead confidently, and flourish with freedom and grace. And in this series, I want to help you get a sense of how you're tracking right now, in amongst the press and the pressure, to help you identify the key areas you need to prioritize and celebrate the areas that you're doing really well in. And here's the big idea. Let's name the pressure for what it is, a myth. This myth of perfect balance, that illusion of calm, controlled motion we're all trying to achieve while silently wondering why we feel like we're consistently unraveling on the inside. This episode isn't about doing more or organizing better. It's about understanding that balance, as we've been sold it, actually doesn't exist. What we need isn't more control. What we need is the courage to embrace healthy tension. And here's a little research snapshot. A recent study published in the Journal of Occupational Health Psychology found that individuals who pursue work-life perfection report significantly higher stress and lower satisfaction in life than those who hold a more flexible, grace-filled set of expectations around their life. The issue isn't how much we do, but how rigidly we expect ourselves to do it all. So let's redefine balance. Have you ever felt like you were juggling 10 things with one hand while sprinting across a tightrope. Well, maybe you're not doing it wrong. Maybe the tightrope was never the way. Culture tells us that balance means everything is in control, organized, decluttered, minimalized. But real life, it ebbs and flows, it pulls and pauses. It's truly an adventure. What if the goal isn't to keep it all together, but to notice what needs our presence in any given moment? Real life is rhythmic. It has seasons of intensity and then seasons of rest. Instead of chasing evenness, we can learn to recognize the invitation within the tension. And in doing so, we start to respond rather than react. Balance isn't stillness, it's tension, the graceful leaning in and leaning out. So, here's an invitation for you to pause right now. I want you to grab your journal or maybe open up your voice memo. You can put me on pause if you want. Get yourself organized. And now I'm going to ask you to reflect on these questions. Where do I feel most out of rhythm right now? Where in my life do I feel out of sync? It's not quite working for me. I'm not sensing any flow. What part of my life am I gripping too tightly? Where am I feeling like I'm just holding on for control, that it feels like striving and there's stress attached? What could change if I embraced that tension instead of trying to erase it? What is the tension? What do you need to lean into and what do you need to lean away from? So here's a call to action. Download your free resource. It's called the Wheel of Life Reflection Tool. There's a link in the bio, and it will help you visually map out where your energy is being spent and where it's needed most. In the coming weeks in the episode, I'm going to unpack some ideas and some concepts around ebb and flow, tension and balance. And we're also going to work through a process with the Wheel of Life. I'd love it if you would leave a comment below or DM me on Instagram. We always love to hear your thoughts. We read every message because connection really matters to us. And if this resonates with you, make sure that you follow us on socials and subscribe to the Coach Aligned YouTube channel so that you won't miss the rest of this series. We've got lots of goodness coming your way. Next up in episode 2, we're diving into the surface secret, how the very waves that we fear might actually be the force that moves us forward. And we'll explore why tension doesn't actually need to be avoided and how presence, not control, creates true momentum. Let's learn how to ride the wave instead of resisting it. And till next time, it's bye for now.